Where are you at on Anthony? I feel like you've been excited on Anthony Richardson.
Yeah.
We know he's starting now, so that'll probably lead to a modest jump in ADP. But there's been people making like the very good point on Twitter, like pointing out like the actual amount of rushing stats he would need, like return his ADP, like it is like insane. You know, he probably need like 9 or 10 rushing touchdowns. He probably need like 800 rushing yards to really get close to like returning on his ADP. Just how comfortable are you taking Anthony Richardson?
All right, look, right now Richardson is going after Geno Smith, after Kirk Cousins, and after Aaron Rodgers. Now, if you want to finish 5th in your fantasy league, you should take those guys. Okay, nice safe floor. If you want that floor, you got that safe floor. You got Kirk Cousins, 290 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. That's your floor. If you want to win your league, you take Anthony Richardson and you let it fly. And if it doesn't work, then you scramble and you figure out another plan at quarterback. But if it works, you're feeling great about your team.
It might work for us.
But it has worked.
I know, I'm kidding. I am kidding. It works all the time.
Yeah. Every year we have this hyper athletic dual threat mobile guy, and we're like, I don't know, he might not start. That's what I was doing. I was hedging my own bets about Richardson, even though I was also excited about him. I was having an inner turmoil about Anthony Richardson. Obviously, the wheels, as the Zoomers say, are up now that he has the starting job. And by the way, this whole thing about we didn't see much in preseason. He completed 7 of 12. He had 1 bad throw. I grant you that. He had 2 rushes. They're not going to show anything. They're not going to show anything about the way that the Colts are going to use Anthony Richardson as a rusher in the preseason. Nothing. Okay. So in week 1, we're going to see it. And in week 1, it's going to be marvelous. Beautiful.
Denny, I put a take out there at the expo on one of our panels where you were here for this, and it plays into a take you've been having you've been very skeptical about Michael Pittman's fit with Anthony Richardson. And I said, again, like, couching everything, I said I didn't think it was the most likely outcome, but I thought there was like a higher percentage chance than I probably wanted to admit that Alec Pierce might become the Colts' #1 receiver this year. Do you think that's crazy? What do you think of that?
Well, look.
He's a better, with the thinking being, as the pure downfield threat, he's a much better fit with what Anthony Richardson is good at right now. And that Michael Pittman, he's not going to be the compiler he was the past few years with Anthony Richardson. And just that with what the Colts need to do in 2023, Alec Pierce might be a better fit.
I don't think that it's like completely out of the range of outcomes that Alec Pierce scores more fantasy points than Pittman. But I will say that it'll be in a completely different way than Pittman scores points, right?
Not in a PPR friendly way, no.
No, it's going to drive you insane, actually.
It would be like kind of like old MVS, maybe old like Deshaun Jackson. I'm trying to think of a few better comps.
Yeah.
Somewhere in between old school Deshaun Jackson and Marcus Valdes-Scantling.
Look, he's going to have Pierce is going to have a crazy ADOT, crazy yards per target, and not a lot of volume. This team could be among the 2 or 3 most conservative, most run-heavy offenses in the NFL, right? So yeah, Pierce is often going to have 3 to 5 targets. If he catches a long one, you feel great. You feel great about starting him in your lineup. If he doesn't catch the long one, you feel pretty awful, and you're kicking yourself, and you're saying, why didn't I start the guy who caught 6 passes for 80 yards? You know what I mean? So you have to prepare yourself for that. Pittman will be, I think, more consistent, okay, in the kind of targets he gets. But as far as volume and where Richardson wins as a thrower, that's all Pierce.
Yeah, like the best case scenario for Alec Pierce in 2023 is probably like a poor man's version of like AJ Brown's rookie season, where AJ Brown had like 50 catches for 1,000 yards. Pierce would probably be more something like 60 for 900 or something, because he's just not that explosive. He's not as explosive as AJ Brown is what I meant. And I don't think is he known as like a yak guy? I don't know.
No, he's not.
Maybe all deep threats are, in theory, kind of yak guys, but he's not a tackle breaking yak guy. And you're kind of hoping for the poor man's version of AJ Brown's rookie year, which used to be a very common type NFL season. You go back to like these 60s through 80s game logs, like it was all the time. Like someone had like 55 catches for 1,099 yards and like 11 touchdowns somehow.
Right.
The pure deep threat doesn't really exist in the game anymore. So yeah, Alec Pierce is someone I do find myself taking fairly frequently near the end of drafts, just on the off chance this happens, because it makes sense to me.